Hi guys, today I want to show you how I made the electric mountainboard. Thanks Kenny for asking about it, and here's the information you need. The first thing that I needed to do was to source some batteries. So this is a 3-cell battery, but I used 6 cells. So when you take these apart, you can reconfigure them in any configuration you want. So what I did was take them apart. So these were stacked on top of each other, and this is a 5000 milliamp, so they are two in parallel. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells in series and 2 in parallel. So you can see I just used some leftover wire to join the cells, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, so positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. And then I used the same balance charger, and I just soldered it back on. So the balance charge is, on the one side is the ground, which is the ground, other side is the positive, and the in between goes to the second cell, to the third cell, yellow to the fourth, white to the fifth, and then ground. So that's how I made up the batteries. The thing that we need is the motors. So I'll make a list of all the motors and things that I've used and put it in the bottom of the video. So I used these 2 motors from AliExpress. Then we need motor mounts. So then these motor mounts I bought from Coyte-King. So you can see they've been used a bit, and they simply go on, and then 4 bolts. The next thing that we need are the motor pulleys. So these are again just cheap motor pulleys, 15 teeth pulleys from AliExpress, and we'll just put them in there. Then we need belts. So I've got 2 belts, HTD 400 5M, so 400 millimeter long HTD 5M belts, and these will drive the 3D printed pulleys on the wheels. So these are standard MBS mountain board wheels, 200 by 50 millimeters. So all I did was I took out the bolts that keep this together. These pulleys will just bolt onto the same holes with these longer bolts. So these are M5 by 50. Is it M5? No, M4 by 50. But again, I'll make a list of all these things. Right, so those are the wheels done. So my electronics is a bit messy, but it works. So I use these brick vents from Bunnings. So it's 3 brick vents with some mesh in there, and you see when I turn it around, it's a mess. So you can see I've got 3 cells in here. It's 5000 milliamp, 5000 milliamp, 5000 milliamp in parallel. What drives the motor is these speed controllers. So I've got one here. So this is called an FSESC or VESC. So it's based on the VESC. Flip Sky electronic speed controller. These are the best to use for skateboards. I've tried to use speed controllers from cars and whatever, and they just are not good enough. In this setup we need 2 speed controllers. So I've got one here for one motor and one here for the other motor. There's this little cable that connects them. This is the CAN bus cable, and all these will be in the list in the description below. My remote talks to this receiver over here, which tells this speed controller the speed that you want, and this speed controller then over this CAN bus tells this wheel to do the same speed or the same current. So the electronics are pretty straightforward, even though it looks messy. The last component is the remote. So this is a remote that I made myself, but you don't have to go through that extremes. So the remote has a receiver that plugs into here, into one of the speed controllers, straightforward. The batteries are all connected in parallel. Like I said, mine has got these weird wires. You should definitely use better quality wire than I have. And the pink cable here, the pink cable is the balance lead. So again, because this is 6 cells, we want to make sure that each of the 6 cells are charged properly. It can happen when you use it that the one cell goes lower and then you could damage your battery. So I've connected all 3 of these into a balance lead to charge the battery, each cell separately, and then the charging port is on this side. So these, you'll need some of these plugs, I guess. So this goes to the VESC, this powers the VESC, so I just plug this in to power it on. And if I want to charge the batteries, all I do is plug the charger in there and plug the balance lead in there, and it will charge all the batteries. So that's the setup here with the 3 sets of batteries. This gives me a range of about 22 kilometers. I made these little mounts for the electronics. Just use little bolts to put it in place. So these you can make out of plywood or aluminium or whatever you've got. Okay, so let's mount the motors. Let's see. This Coyte-King motor mounts are nice because they can expand quite wide for these trucks. So I just want to swing the motors so that the wires are over here. Right, so something like that. So I'll make another video on how to program these speed controllers to talk to each other. Then the motors get connected over here. So the last step is the pulleys, the belt and the wheels. So hook the belt in there. Tighten up the wheel. What we need to do is move this motor a little bit to the left, to your right, so that it runs nicely on this pulley. So now the motor pulley and the wheel pulley are lined up. All we need to do is tighten up all the bolts. Just lift the motors up. Okay, so let's see if this works. Switch on my remote. You can see this wheel's turning the wrong direction. So if I'm going forward, this is going backwards. And all you have to do is swap 2 of the wires. And then it changes the direction of the motor. All good. So I can make a video of how to configure the 2-speed controllers. So let me know in the comments if you would like that. Thanks for watching and thanks for your support. Hope you have a great day.